All right, my name is Gavriel Friedman, a.k.a. Rav Gav, originally from New York, living here in Israel. Not really relevant. Let's get started. So I'm going to open up questions a little bit, if that's okay. If you feel uncomfortable, good. Now, I want you to tell me what comes to mind. I'm going to say a word. I want you to tell me what comes to mind. But do me a favor. Don't do this like games thing. Don't play games with me. Be real. Let's try to open it up a little bit in a way that will get you ready for it, okay? I say a word, you tell me what comes to mind. What probably will happen is this awkward silence at first, but then we'll break it in slowly, okay? I'm going to start with, how about orange? Orange. Juice. Okay, good. We got one person. Anyone else alive? Alive. Yeah, I can hear you breathing out there. What? Hatsala. Who said that? Okay. What? I thought you said orange. Apple. Okay. OJ. Okay. I'm sorry, am I not allowed to say that here? I don't know how it works. I'm in Yerushalayim. We do whatever we want. Okay, so O.J. Simpson. I was thinking guilty. Okay, how about basket? I was waiting for the case. Where are you? Come on. There's always one. Okay, basketball. Okay, Alfred. Okay, Judaism.
Orthodox.
Torah?
Orthodox.
Uh-huh. Okay, and the ladies were quiet on that one. Judaism. I'm sorry, Yahadut. God, Hidabrut. Yahadut, Hidabrut. Okay, brought to you by. Okay, Judaism. Torah, laws. Shmir some mitzvos. Ruchnias. Cholent. Kishke. Now we're getting serious. Okay, everyone just relax, yeah? If we can get in the green screen, some cholent and kishka. Go. Okay. So I'm going to share with you something quite interesting, based off the answers that you just gave. It's fascinating. I'm not really paying attention who's saying what, because that wouldn't be good for you. But when people just answer out things, you get to know who they really are, right? You get to see their insight. You did better than most. I said once Judaism. Some guy goes, Christianity. I was like, wrong class. Yeah, but all right, but you get the concept. And that is what something called Judaism. So what is it? What is it really? What is the concept of Yiddishkeit? What is Judaism? So I want to share with you just in an interesting way in the mashal. I heard this from a Rav in Muncie. Many of you might know it is Rabbi Ben Sion Klatsko. He gave I sat in a class. If you don't know who he is, you don't. But if you do, you do. Okay. Rabbi Klatsko brings a lot of groups. He brings a lot of groups to Israel. And when he brings these groups to Israel, I get to teach a lot of them very often. And one time I walked in to teach and he wasn't yet done. I sat in for about 2 minutes on his class and it absolutely changed my life. In a good way, by the way, but in a really amazing way. And he didn't exactly, pardon me if I'm saying it wrong, so then it's him. If it's right, it's me. But if I say it wrong, so okay, it's my own little take on what I heard for these couple of minutes, yeah? So what happens, he asks the following question. I'm going to ask you a question, okay? And this is not rhetorical. I'm actually looking for an answer. The question is, has anyone here ever been in a rules before?
What?
English speaking here? Has anyone here ever been in a rules? No, been. No, have you been? Have you been in a rules? No one? Okay, I usually get these blank stares with different countries, but all right, let's try. Let me try to change the question a little bit. Right? Again, the question was, have you ever been in a rules? No one has. What?
Always.
What do you mean?
I'm always in rules.
מה זאת אומרת?
God rules, country's rules.
Oh, okay, we're getting close. Let me ask you different. Has anyone here ever been in a relationship before? It's like, still don't know what it means. Yeah, but yeah, has anyone been in a relationship? Yes or no? Gentlemen, you better get this right if someone's with you tonight. Yeah. Have you been in a relationship? Okay, now, are there rules in relationships? Oh, yeah. The women are like, yes. The men are like, oh, yeah, right? Are there rules? How many rules are there in relationships? So very funny, I was giving this over once and there was a couple there. And the couple at the very same moment answered this question, husband and wife. I said, how many rules are there? At the same second, the man goes, as many as she says. And the wife goes, as many as I say. This is exactly the same thing. I turn to the guy, "Hatzlacha Rabbi." You know what I'm saying? Good luck, brother. Okay, so we find, are there rules in relationships? The answer is there are rules. There are many rules in relationships. There are many rules. There are many rules that are found in relationships. But although there are many rules in relationships, here's where things get a little bit crazy. I got to see, when I was in high school, for the little time that I spent there, my principal's name is Rabbi Yisrael Kamenetsky. Some of you might know who he is. Rabbi Yisrael Kamenetsky comes every year to visit his students here in Eretz Yisrael. And when he came to visit, I happened to see him in the old city. I saw him in the old city of Jerusalem walking. And I was like, oh, Rabbi Kamenetsky. I said, Rabbi, how you doing? Shalom Aleichem. Nice to see you. He said, oh, now that I'm seeing you, I am seeing the 180th alumni in 3 days. And we both corrected him at that moment. Almost alumni. Okay, in any event, I did. Is it still called an alumni? It's still called, no? An alma mater. Anyway, but I go ahead and I said, listen, there's something I want to say to you because I don't think I've ever said it, and I feel like I should. I really have a lot of akaras tov. There are two things I have to thank you for. He said, yeah, what is it? Now, this is after being out of high school for, 10, 15, I don't know how many years, okay? That's why I'm not in high school anymore, but I've been out of there. And I said to him, there's two things I want to thank you. Now, if you haven't seen your principal in over a decade, 15, 20 years, you haven't seen him, you want to say, seen him, but I never really said thank you. Two things I have to thank you for. What would you hope that your student is going to tell you to say thank you for? What do you say? The Torah he taught. You're very religious. The Torah that he taught. Come on, be real, people. Kicking me out. You didn't kick me out, okay? I went early admissions, all right? I wasn't really admitted anywhere, but I went early somewhere, and I went there, okay? I admitted myself somewhere. It's a whole nother story. Okay, so in any event, he goes there. I said two things I want to thank you for. The first thing I want to thank you for is for a little incident that happened in one of the grades where they wanted to arrest me, and he kind of helped me not be arrested. Oh, fine, I don't want to get into that now because, The second thing I want to thank you for is the following thing. I had a note. You see, there was a rule in the school. There was a rule that you must be tucked in. You must have your shirt tucked in. And I had a pass. I was the only kid in the school. Okay, mind you, there were only 36 kids, but I was the only kid. They started with that. They graduated at 14. I was the only kid in the school that had a pass that I did not have to tuck myself in. I didn't have to tuck myself in. And it sounds a little silly or crazy, but every one of us have things that bother us. They're really just these little things that just, you can't get over them. And if you just were to not have to deal with those things would be great. That was my thing, tucking myself in. I couldn't deal with it. And he saw that, and he gave me a pass. So I said, I want to thank you for that. So he's like, oh, you're welcome. You know what I mean? Okay, sure, you're welcome. So he laughed at me. He goes, we don't even have that rule in the school anymore because no one can handle it, yeah? But all right, when you had it was. First year, they were trying to work it out, make it like it's a school. Okay, so basically I had this pass. How amazing was that for me and what did it do for my life? It totally, I think, gave me the opportunity to actually focus in whatever I was able to focus in and to move forward. It was a real tremendous help for me, and I really thanked him for that. It was genuine. And I want to share with you just what happened to me a little bit later, a couple years later. A couple years later, I was going to visit my now wife in Montreal, Canada. My wife is from Conseil Juif, for those who are familiar, a place in Canada, Montreal, and Montreal. And I was going to visit. Now, my mother didn't want me to drive alone, so I had someone come with me. And when I drove up, I stopped the car about a block away from her house. I got out of the car and I started tucking myself in. And the person with me looks at me and goes, what are you doing? And I said, I don't know. I just got this feeling, like I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's happening. I only years later learned the Gemara in Sanhedrin, Daf Kuf Amud Beis. Also, Rashi brings it down by Avraham Avinu, that we know. Also, similar by Bilam. The Gemara says, Ahava mikalkeles ashura. Mikalkeles ashura, that love messes up lines. When a person is in love, When you're in love, it just messes up the lines. You just do crazy things. You'll even tuck yourself in. You'll do crazy, crazy things when you go out. You don't even know what that means, okay? I'm telling you, this is serious. You'll tuck yourself in. Love messes up lines. Where's the Bereshis Rabbah? Brings down Rashi with Avram Avinu. We know that Hashem comes to Avram, Kachnas, Binchas, Yechidcha, Shavta. Take your son. Which one? Oh, stop it. Yechidcha, the one. Well, they're both one. Asher Ahavta, the one you love. Come on, stop playing these games. Yitzchak, all right? Take him and go, go bring him up, and you know what to do, all right? You know what to do. What does Avram do? Vayashkim Avram Baboker, says the Gemara in Pesachim Daf Daled. I think you're not going to check anyway, but I believe it's there. And the Gemara says over there, Zrisim Magdim Lemitzos, and I think it's Uncle Maishi who says, Zrisim Magdim, or was that Uncle Yossi? One of them go and they say a little shout out, right? So you owe me for that. And what happens, they go ahead and they say Zrisus. A person does Zrisus when you get up early in the morning, Fuertales, te come de leon. He strengthens himself. He gets up and he prepares. What does he do? And he saddles his own donkey. And Chazal say, what are you talking? Why would you saddle your own donkey? He was a billionaire. We don't always think about this, right? We don't think about it. Avram Avinu was a billionaire. The guy was loaded off his rocker. He had cash galore. It was such a big amount. It was the classic, this is the first, this land ain't big enough for the two of us. Where you got to load, you got to leave. It just wasn't working. That was Avram, right? It wasn't working. He gets up, he saddles his own donkey. Why does he saddle his own donkey? Says Rashi, Ahava milkalkeles ashura. Love messes up lines. Avram was so in love with Hashem. How in love was he? Oh, this is amazing. We know that nevuah can only rest on someone. The Gemara gives a whole list of things. But one of them is when you're in a state of simcha, when you're in a state of joy. And then the Malach comes and says, Vayomer Avram, Vayomer Hineni, Vayomer Al Tishloch Yodcha Anar Val Taslo Me'uma. Don't do it. How was he able to get such a discussion? How could he get such a nevuah? Only if he was besimcha. Which means he was totally besimcha in a state of love and connection with the Ribono Shalom. Amazing. What do we find by Bilam? Sinna, Milkalkel Sashura. Bilam was also loaded. And what does it say? And he saddled his own donkey. Use a different word. Chamor, asono. Why is that? What's the difference? A whole other year, which will probably never happen. Maybe. Who knows? But he goes and he does it himself. Why? Because sin or hatred messes up the lines. We do crazy things. And we know that. These are the two extremes. So we go and we say the following. I wish I had water. It's been a shamayim. Thank you so much. Thank you. So unbelievable. Wow. Siyata d'shmaya. If this is live, so I don't know. It's a shayla. Can you answer main? Can you not? I don't know. If it's recording, do not answer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nihiyeh b'dvaro. This is not water. This is vodka or something. All right. Notice I was stressed nihiyeh just for the Sfardim in the room. Okay. So, Mogan Avram, grow. Okay, another time we'll do halacha shir. Now, we go and we see the following. Love messed up the lines. When a person is in a relationship, when a person is in love, when things are going well, are there rules? Oh, there are rules. But you know what? The rules don't necessarily bother you. Let's try to put someone on the spot just for a moment. So I have a question for you, young man, if that's all right. You look familiar. Too many years of abuse. It's all coming back, isn't it? All right. It's my brother, by the way. Okay, so let's say your wife calls you up, okay? Let's say, all right? You're coming home from work or from kail, whatever it is, you understand? And I don't know if this is going to work in Israel because it doesn't work, but you got to think, like, I don't know if you know, there's a place called the Five Towns. Think about it like that. There's like a lot of food there, yeah? Your wife calls you up. You're on your way home from work, and she says, honey, I'm hungry. What do you say? Good. Better than the last guy who goes, me too, and hangs up, right? Now, the truth is this can go the wrong way, because really your wife should be like, if you don't know what I want already, then don't even come home, okay? Yeah? All right. But you say, well, what would you like me to pick up? Okay, I'll be your wife for now, okay? Pizza. Good. How many pies? Okay, see, interesting. So depending how long you're married, right? Sometimes you say like, how many pies? If it's been a long time and things or whatever, you might say, are you sure you don't just want a salad, honey? I don't want to say anything, but maybe just a salad or two, whatever. Okay, so you say, I want a pie, one pie. What do you say?
You want any toppings?
Good. Can I supersize that, right? You want any toppings? Okay, yes, I want this. What do you want? You're getting the point. Now, if you think more, here, I don't know what they have. Pizza stores, or if they have how many. But again, you grow up in a place like New York, you got a pizza shop, you got a sucker's wool everywhere, right? So basically, there's a pizza shop all over the place. So you say, well, which store do you want? I want Pizza Pius on Broadway. I want you to go the distance, okay? You go the distance. So you say, okay, fine, you know? When things are going well in a relationship, it's true that there are rules. But not only do the rules not bother you, you are willing to take more rules upon yourself. If you need to fulfill your obligation as a husband and get your wife something to eat, so when your wife calls and says, honey, if she's Spanish, or honey, if she's American, or davash, if she's Israeli, and she goes and she says, because we all know, why do you call your wife honey, right? Because you forgot her name. Another reason is because honey is davash is 306, gematria isha, right? Okay, and I know that's what you're all thinking. Okay, now, in any event, you fulfill your obligation, you do what you got to do. But no, you take it a step further, you go deeper, you'll go more, because things are great. And when a person's in love, it doesn't bother you. Think about an anniversary, for the women who remember it, let's say. Your anniversary, you stay up late at night preparing things for a birthday, but you didn't eat anything. Aren't you hungry? It's okay. But aren't you tired? It's okay. It doesn't bother you. Now let's ask the question again. Have you ever been in a rules before? Does anyone understand what I mean now? Allow me to explain. A rules is when the relationship starts to break down a little bit, and you're still there, you're still together, but it's no longer this great, wonderful thing. It becomes, fine, I'll do the rules. Relationship is ahava milkalkelis ashura. You'll do crazy things, you're in love, and the rules don't bother you. A rules is when I'm in a rules. In other words, I'm doing what I need to do. I'll be yotzei. I'll fulfill my obligation. I'll pick up pizza, no problem. You're hungry? I'll get you something. Goodbye. I did what I have to do. I'm going to go and get it for you. Go above and beyond? No. But I'll do what I got to do. I'll fulfill what I got to do. God forbid if it doesn't get back and start working, what ends up happening? The rules become burdensome. And when the rules become burdensome, then we feel like, you know what, maybe I don't want to do these rules so much anymore. And it went from a relationship where the rules didn't bother you to where I'll do what I got to do, to a state of, you know what, I can't really, it's so cumbersome. It's just so, is that the right word to use? It's so cumbersome. It's just so overwhelming. It's just so difficult. And you know what? I don't want to do these rules anymore. God forbid, the next stage after that is where they're no longer involved. What's Judaism? Judaism, my friends, ultimately is a relationship. Hashem, Torah, that's what I meant by that. Okay, whatever was a cholent, that's what I meant by that. Right? We have the different answers that we give. What is Judaism? What is Yahadut? What is Yiddishkeit? Yiddishkeit is a relationship, and this is not just some fluffy idea, my friends. This is if you've ever read the words of Chazal. It's very funny. I remember my father-in-law once wanted to buy a book for one of my kids. I said, listen, just not Cinderella. You know what I mean? Don't get like Little Red Riding Hood. I know some of you don't know what this is. I know. Don't get the Katan Adom Riding Hood. Yeah, don't get that thing. Yeah, you're with me. Right? Don't get Little Red Riding. Don't get these things. He's like, why not? I'm like, it's like a scary story, which just basically teaches you to think your grandmother's a wolf, and then and it's going to make people think that they shouldn't have parents. Incidentally, I know maybe this is a pasnish. I know this is no bread, but I just want to share with you an idea. Does anyone know? I know again. If you don't know what I'm talking about, so you won't be bothered because you know what I'm saying. Epis, you don't even understand me, Taka. But if you know what I'm saying, Gevaldig, then you'll understand. Why why is it that Disney movies, why is it, Mazal Tov, why is it that every Disney movie, why almost everyone is lacking, there's no mother figure? You take a look at them, almost every one of them, either mother figure dies or there's no mother figure. Bambi, dead. It's like, even Bambi. Where's your mother? Dead. Like, the whole thing is just intense. Why? So it's all fascinating. Walt Disney bought a home for his mother, and there was a gas leak, and his mother ended up dying. He felt so guilty about this that he put it in every movie afterwards. Scary. And that's the message that's being taught over and over. No mother figure, no mother figure, no mother figure. Scary, scary, scary. So I said, don't buy those things. He said, oh, okay, no problem. You don't want me to get those books? Yeah, okay, no problem. How about I get them Exodus? Yeah, how about I buy them the book of Shemos, where they read about like blood and the Makos. Like, that's okay for them, right? And how about I get them Shir HaShirim, which is like a detailed love story. I was like, you know what, just get them Little Red Riding Hood. You know what I'm saying? Just forget that. But what's the Torah? What's the Torah? We're saying Yedid Nefesh. Yedid. Now, what's Yedid Nefesh? What is that? Yedid Nefesh. Nafshi chola asafasecha. I'm lovesick for you. Ribono shel olam. It's love. It's a love story. Not just Shabbos being a love story, which is the story that we told on JWP. But what is it? It's a love story. You take a look. I mean, think about it. What's Elul? What does Elul stand for? Ani le'uman ve'ishti levad. Right? Or ani lidodi vidodi li. Yeah? Okay, ladies, I'm sorry if I hit a sore point there. Yeah, I don't want to bring up any things. But anyway, what is it? Ani lidodi. I'm to my beloved. Ani lidodi li aroe. I'm to my beloved. My love is to me. Shir hashirim hasher shalom. All the Sfaradim can finish for me. Right? But it's amazing. You look through it, the story, it's a love story. What is the Torah? The Torah is a love story. Okay, how do you explain Devarim? It's tough love. But it's a love story. I said to my kids one Shabbos, I said to them, guys, you're not going to believe this. I have in our house right now a letter from Hashem. I have a letter from Hashem. It's a love letter. So my oldest, she goes, it's the Torah. I was like, go to your room, right? But you're right. All right, go to your room now. This is not love. It's tough. Get it inside. But what is the Torah? It's a love story. No, it's all these rules. What do you mean it's all these rules? Relationships also have rules, but nobody goes to the chuppah saying, this is so exciting. Gosh, the rules. You go say, and if you do, then it ends quite quickly. We recognize the fact is that, yes, it may be challenging, but it doesn't matter. And I love it. And I love it, and I'll go for it. But when you're in the rules, all of a sudden it falls, my friends. How do we look at the Torah? Do we look at the Torah like a relationship? Do we look at Judaism as a relationship? This is a love letter? Or do we look at it as, these are the rules? It's true, these are rules, but do we look at it like that? And if we focus on it like that, it becomes like that. And I'll give you an unfortunate proof to this. This is not a shticky thing. I'm going to ask you for a definition of a particular word. I'm going to say a word, I want a definition. Don't give me your feelings. I don't want your feelings. I want translation. I want you to define a word for me. Are we ready? Yes or no? Okay, ladies, men, if you're ready, stare at me stoically. Good. All right. We'll start with the word atah, with an aleph. Atah, what does it mean? With an aleph. With an ayin. Okay, what does the word ayin mean? I. Okay, what's that? Ooh, very good. With a hey, ayin. Okay, what does the word shomer? Guard, okay? Come on, yell it out. You got to be real with me now. We're going to see your true color. Come on, be real with me, yeah? All right, tell me, what does the word Torah mean? Instructions. Anything else? Manual. Teach. Your children. What? Laws. Okay. How about the word shemesh? Light, sun. Okay. Mitzvah. Okay. Every word I said until now was just to get to mitzvah. But if I would have started with mitzvah, you would have been on my case. So we mess with you a little. And by we, I mean the royal we, and that I must tie it. Okay, what does the word mitzvah mean? The word mitzvah comes from the word tzav or tzivoy, which means commandment. This is accurate. This is true. This is correct. The word mitzvah is a commandment. Now let's try to imagine for a moment. Let's try to imagine. And if I had the ability of writing on this thing, I would for you. But they'll put it up when they edit it, which will never happen. But it might. Bli neder, which means I'm lying. All right, here we go. Right? No, come to me, bli neder. I'll get back to you, bli neder. You know, it's like, come for Shabbos, bli neder. Okay. So try to imagine for a moment, or you'll see when they put it up. When they put it up, imagine the word relationship right over here. And beneath the word relationship, you have the word rules. Now, you could look at Judaism as a relationship, or you could look at it like rules. They're both accurate. The question is up to you. Now we're going to look at another word, the word mitzvah. The word mitzvah can be translated, as many of you or all of you explained, to mean the word, and if there's somebody I didn't hear, then we'll say it in a minute, and one of you will go, I'll be like, oh, you said that. So the word mitzvah means commandment. If this would be relationship, this would be rules. Where would you put the word commandment? You'd put it with rules. Does that make sense? You got rules, you got commandment. Or if they just overlap it, it's rules, commandment. That's up to them, yeah? Rules, commandment. But there's another way of defining the word mitzvah. And the Zohar comes and tells us the word mitzvah comes from another word called tzavta, not to be confused with grandmother. The word tzavta means something else. And I'll show you with another word, which you should all know in Hebrew, a word called tzevet. What's it, tzevet? A staff? Give me another word. A team. Give me another word. But they're right. They're right. Give me another one. A what? Spell it. Group. Okay? Yeah, give me another one. There's another word I'm looking for just because I like the word. Those are all correct. The word I'm looking for is like is a crew. So I wasn't sure we said group or crew. In my head, it could be for a lot of reasons which I don't want to go into. But the word crew is, I think, the deepest of all of them. Why is a staff or a crew or a group or a team, why are they called a tzevet? Why is that the word? Because what does the word tzevet mean? What? The word tzevet means el punto de conexión. The word tzevet means the point of connection. Nekudat achibor. It's a point of connection. It is a connecting point. A mitzvah or tzavta is a connection point. The mitzvahs are there for us to be able to build and work and connect through these things, the relationship between us and Hashem. So we were to put the word mitzvah on the board and we look at it as commandment, that it falls in with rules. Or you look at it as connection point, and the tzevet, they come together in a way where they meet at a point. What happens when that point is finished? They scatter. Not to get into avatluy b'davar nap, but that's a whole other shir, which is very connected. It's the Rambam in 3 different stages. But over here, we're saying the concept of the word mitzvah can mean commandment or can mean connection point. And connection point sits up here with relationship. How do we translate mitzvah? Rules, commandments. Doesn't that just excite you? Doesn't that so much just want you? Don't you just run? I just love being commanded. It's just, and if the answer is yes, that, please don't tell me. I don't want to know anything else. But the point is that that's what's going to move us. Or what's going to move us is a concept of connection and relationship. And that, my friends, is everything in Yiddishkeit. Everything we do is in order to connect with Hashem. That's the purpose. That's what we're doing here. The whole purpose, if you look through every book, every sefer, every Mesilas Yesharim, new Rabbi Yonah, Shari Tshuva, you go through, you look through the Gaon, you look through all these books, the film the Gaon, you look through everything, Evan Shlema, it's all for one purpose. What's the end game? Dveikus. Dveikus. We're talking about Rivi Schwabel style. The real deal. What was the other guy's name? No. The one I know is... no. Keep going. Sonnenblick. Oh, that's what I was thinking of, yeah. So understanding the concept of the Dveikus, what does that mean, Dveikus? Dveikut, what's Devek? Glue. What's Dveikus? Dveikus means to cleave, to be connected with, to be attached to. The whole purpose is to connect with Hashem. That's what we're doing here. That's the goal. Some say this one, some say the next one. We're not getting to get another year. Ultimately, the next one, that for sure is pretty much spoken out. But that's what we're doing amidst this connection. And then look what happens. If we look at it like commandment, and we look at it as, down here, commandment and rules, then we say, oh no, I have to. If we look at it like connection relationship, we say, oh wow, I can. It's a whole new world. It's shining, it's shimmering, it's splendid. It's a whole new existence. What? It's a whole nother thing. And if we would look at Judaism like that, how different it would be. How much more we would connect. How much more we'd be jumping into it. How much more we would be, it would just change everything. Every aspect of our connection, every part of it. It's not like, I have to daven. It's like, great, I could daven. And when you're davening, you're talking to Hashem. It's a pretty scary thing when you're talking to a king. But when you're davening, you're talking to Hashem. Opportunities, incredible opportunities that come up daily. So which one do we look at it like? Do we look at it like a rules or do we look like a relationship? See, that's what we're doing right now. Right now we're building. Right now we're growing. What's the secret of the Omer? I didn't choose that title, but I will tell you what the secret of the Omer is. At least the one I'm going to tell you about. The Omer itself, what are we doing? What's the Omer? What is Sfiras HaOmer? The Chinuch comes along and he tells us. The Sefer HaChinuch explains. Everyone knows the Sefer HaChinuch, the book of education, written by, excellent, anonymous. And the Sefer HaChinuch, 13th century, tells us about Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, debatable, not so clear. Anyway, so he says Sefer HaChinuch about the Mitzvah of the Omer. I have to give a shout out, B'Shem Amro, my good friend E.T.L. Goldwicht. I was speaking with him today. He shared with me his beautiful idea that I want to share with you right now. What is the Omer? What are we doing? It's when anybody has something which they love or they're excited about, so they count. They count. But the counting that people that are excited about usually is a count down, not a count up, and that's a classic question. So why are we counting up? Today's the first day of the Omer, second day, third day. It should be 50, 49. You ask a Kala, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? 1 month, 34 days, and well, that'd be 2 months and 4 days, good. 2 months, 4 days, 65 minutes, that's another hour. 2 months, you got the idea. 12 seconds, 11 seconds, 10 seconds, 9 seconds. You ask a man, when are you getting married? I don't know. You see the excitement, it's beautiful. Okay. But there's a countdown. There's a countdown. And when it comes to marriage, it's the final countdown. Anyway, but there's a countdown. There's a countdown. And this countdown, so why are we counting up? What's going on? So what's the Omer? What is the Omer? What is the Omer? We're saying serious Omer. Omer is a measurement. There's another time in the Torah we find Omer. That's found by what? By the mun. Omer le-Golgolis. It's got to be a certain measurement. The mun. The manna that felleth and frometh from heaveneth. When the manna fell down from the heaven, when that manna fell, others known as the mun, this is an Omer LaGulgol. What was this? What's the shaykhus? What's the connection? And the question the Gemara asks already is, so why is it that Hashem, by the mun, why did he give the mun every day? Why not like a month's supply or 2 months supply? Now, I don't know people's backgrounds here, so forgive me. I'm not being facetious. In all seriousness now, was that the right word again? No? Okay. I don't want to, God forbid, bring up memories that people have had in their lives if it's something which was negative of sorts. I'm going to speculate, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to hope I'm right. I hope I'm right that most of us in this room, or at least many of us in this room, grew up in a home which was either somewhat well-to-do or at least got by. Perhaps there's some that didn't. And for those who didn't, you'll understand a lot more than I will. Thank God I was very, very lucky with how I was raised in terms of there was always food. It was never like, God forbid, wake up and it's empty. But what about when a person wakes up and they look in their home and there is nothing there? There's absolutely nothing there. That's very difficult. How do you live with that? How do you function? but nothing's there. It's very, very hard. And then you wake up the next morning and you hear a knock on the door and you're like, kids, the old knock and run game. And you open up the door and there's nobody there, but there's food there. And there's enough food exactly for your family for that day. This is not a chiddush. This is just perhaps a perspective that I think when we learn about the man, or anytime we talk about the Torah, we don't really think about what it was. No food, nothing, zero, or in Espanol, cero, or you say nada, not to be confused with nada, which means to swim, same word, but nada, which means zero, nothing, empty. Finalizamos, eso es todo terminando. We're talking about no comer, nothing in there. You open it up and there's the food. Wow. Unbelievable. Amazing. Next day. No more food. You open the door. Kids, knocking again. Open the door. There it is again. You're like, God, please stop these games. Give me a month's supply. And God's like, I'm going to give you every day. You see, because when does a person count up? You count up when there's growth. When a person is growing. It's been, again, God forbid, but unfortunately, or this part is the fortunate part, where people come and say, I've been clean for 8 years now, or even 8 weeks, or even 8 days. I haven't eaten non-kosher in this amount. I've been on my diet for this amount. It's counting up. The things you work for, the things that are challenging and you need to work to grow are the things that we count up. What is Sfiras HaOmer? Sfiras HaOmer is accounting. We're counting up and we're appreciating because we appreciate when we don't have. And then when someone gives it to us, oh wow, do we appreciate it? Omer la Golgoles, the man, was a lesson in Hakaras HaTov, in recognizing what Hashem does for us all the time. We're going to go into Eretz Yisrael, we're going to do it once a year, the Korban Omer. Don't eat that food, that new grain, until you bring this korban, until you recognize and you appreciate, and you're able to then go ahead and really enjoy it. Because without recognizing it, you can't really appreciate it. That's the bottom line. It's got to be growth and pushing and moving and working. Have you ever been in a relationship before for longer than a day or a week or 2 weeks? For the guy a week, the girl 2 weeks? Where that first initial stuff kind of wears down. It's no longer that lovey-dovey cloud 9 or 8 or whatever cloud you're on. What do you do then? Then you work. You got to work. We have to be counting up. And we have to be working towards it and putting into it. And the only way to do that is by taking stock and seeing what we have, appreciating what's there, seeing what it is, and really recognizing it. Someone will correct me, okay? I just remember hearing a Shalom Bayis discussion that there was a Shalom Bayis Vad where they were saying that Rav Chaim Shmulevitz used to write down every day. Correct me if you heard this. Correct me. But I remember hearing 10, and here's the chiddush, excuse the pun, but 10 new things that he appreciated about his wife every day. Now that's hard for me to understand. Okay? Not because I don't appreciate my wife. It's hard for me to say 10 new things every day. What does that mean, 10 new things? I mean, there's only so many words in the dictionary. It's like, what do you come out, like you just start going from the A, you know what I'm saying? My wife is A, right? And what do you go through, right? But we go through and really appreciate. We really appreciate, sit down, and you got to work for it. In the beginning, it's easy. Everything's right there because the relationship is wonderful, everything's wild, it's incredible, it's on fire. But what happens as things go on? Life sets in, and if we don't take time to take stock to see what it is, and we don't work on it, we don't start counting up, we don't start taking step by step, then forget about it. My friends, what is Shavuos? Shavuos is the chasana. It's the love story. Kafale Markigigi is okay, whatever, but not for now. But it's the chasana. It's beautiful. It's unbelievable. We're connecting now. Do we see Shavuos like that? I forgot to mention, I probably should have asked during my association game. Shavuos. What's the answer? There you go. The number one answer on the board is cheesecake. Yeah. The number two, depending from, is Jolt. Jolt is an illegal substance now. That was once legal in certain states, which is, it's basically Coca-Cola, but it has 3 times the amount of caffeine. Yeah, so Red Bull, they make it kosher and legal because they call it some different name. But this is basically, I remember we would stay up Shavuos night, you'd watch people, it was like dolphins. Dolphins have this thing that they sleep with their eyes open, yeah? So you watch people sitting and learning together, they're both like this. No one's awake though. They're all sleeping, but they are totally, and there's a line going from them to this Jolt thing. It's crazy. Anyway, what is Shavuos? Shavuos is a wedding. It's a chasana. It's the beginning of the relationship. It's a starting point. It's our anniversary. And we forgot it. Not just the men this time. We forgot our anniversary. We forgot our anniversary. Shavuos, let's learn Torah. What about Shavuos? Let's love Hashem. You know, there's a, I think even the Mishnah Berurah brings it down. It could be I'm wrong, but I've been wrong before. My wife tells me twice. I think the Mishnah Berurah brings that. If a person says Shema without wearing tefillin, what does it say? What's it like? It's Eidu Sheker. It's like saying a false testimony because you're saying, and you put tefillin on your arm and you put tefillin on your head and you're not wearing it. So at the time it's supposed to be, it's Eidu Sheker. You know what else he says? If you say Shema and you're not loving Hashem, it's Eidu Sheker. V'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha b'chol levav v'chol nefesh v'chol me'odecha. This is how we do it. Are we loving Hashem while we're saying Shema? My Chavrus always tells me, be very careful what you say, because you're a massive kitrug on yourself. So let's just get it out. I don't either, okay? Okay? I don't even say Shema for that reason, all right? Fine, I'll start. Shema. Will we say what? Loving Hashem. Are we thinking about that while we're saying it? We forgot the chasana. We forgot our anniversary. Some of us even fell asleep at the chuppah, which is why we now have to stay up all night long in order to make up for that. Same thing is true when it comes to the idea of Shavuos. We have to remember, what's it about? The Omer is building up the days. From Pesach to Shavuos, it's building up to the Chasana. We're getting ready, we're excited. Some are counting down, some are counting up. This is great, and it's hard, it's work. I'm gonna put into it, I'm gonna push it, and who knows where it's gonna take me. It's gonna be incredible. All right, people, what I want to do right now is just a quick recap of everything we did. End up with one point, and then we'll open it up to any questions, comments, stories, jokes, attacks. There probably will be none. We will look at each other awkwardly for a moment. I will say thank you, you will clap, I will leave. Okay, so we started off at the beginning. How did we start? With the question of rules? Is that how we started? Yeah. Right? So let's think, how have we been in rules? Rules? Oh, been through, no, not been. Been in a Rolls Royce? What do you mean? No, been in a rule. What's the rules? Been in a relationship, are there rules? How many? Whatever she said, whatever I say. Are there rules? Of course there's a relationship, but they're difficult, they're hard, they're challenging, but you know what? Love mess up life. Also the same thing with a bill, because it says, sinners become an idea. We go ahead, and when a person is in love, they'll talk themselves in. They'll go crazy. They'll do crazy things. Yes, honey, can I supersize it? Can I double that? Would you like a salad? But we go ahead, we'll go to the next thing. The next thing, isn't that difficult? Is that challenging? Hard staying up all night? You're working so difficult, not even eating anything. Aren't you hungry? Aren't you tired? It doesn't matter, because I'm in love. When a person's in love, it changes everything. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that incredible? It's unbelievable, my friends. That's the idea about, if you've been in rules, so difficult, so hard. Fine, I'll get it for you. Me too, bye. Right? And what happens, it gets a little bit more. Fine, I'll do what I can do. I'll be Yotzei. I'll fulfill my obligation. I'll go to Shachas. I'll be Yotzei. I'll bench. I'll be Yotzei. I'll do what I gotta do. I'll be Yotzei. I'll fulfill what I gotta do, as opposed to, yes, the constant questions, my friends, is the relationship, is the rules. If it's a relationship, then what happens? And a mitzvah is a connection point, and a connection point is, yes, I can. What an opportunity. If it's, on the other hand, it's called the rules, and the rules become what? It becomes a mitzvah, it becomes a commandment. If it's a commandment, it's like, fine, I must. All right, I'll do what I gotta do, until God forbid, the later, a person says, I don't want the rules anymore, and I don't do it, and they break the relationship. Scary, difficult, challenging, hard. No, not at all. It's incredible. Torah is amazing. I'm going to Uman. Realize what it's about. It's the depth of the depth of Ani Ledodi, coming to the connection of religion. But you get the idea. We'll go through the Shirim, okay, fine, little red writing. But you work these things, unbelievable. The whole Torah, tough. But you see, fine, it's hard. But don't mess up. You know what I'm saying? Don't mess up. But if you don't mess up, everything's great, everything's wonderful, it's going to be incredible. Friends, how are we looking at it? Are we looking at Mitzvah like a commandment, or we look at a connection point? We look at the Torah as Yiddishkeit, we look at Yiddishkeit as an amazing relationship, we look at Yiddishkeit as something different, and that will change our whole night. Tonight it will change. When we daven Ma'ariv, we didn't daven yet. It's going to be exciting. We say Kriyash Malamitas, unless maybe never did. So when you're saying it, make sure you say it Bahava, or it's Eid Shecher, right? Not Shecher, because it's not a word, but Sheker is what I meant to say. Right? It becomes a false testimony, everything, and then that's bad news, better not said in the first place. I'm not saying that, of course, say it, because you start doing it, it builds it another share. But realize, my friends, what's the Omer? Omer la Golgol, it's the manna from heaven. Hallelujah. You open up the door, there it is. What a Hashem, just give me the thing already. No. Work for it every day. Appreciate, recognize. Do we work through it in our relationships, with our spouses, with our children, with our parents? Do we do it with Hashem? Do we work on it? Do we build up? There's a countdown, there's a count up. The count up is work. And through that work comes out the relationship. Shavuos is a chasana. We're now building up towards it. You can have cheesecake. I happen not to like cheesecake. It's a reyes on my kasha. I understand. It's a shaila if I'm really Jewish, but I don't like it, all right? Back off. I like milchiks. I do. And I'm open to it. I like chocolate. I do. But I don't like cheesecake. I like cheese. I like cake. I don't like them together. Yeah? I like tuna and I like ketchup. I don't put them together either. It's like, just put them together. Why? Why would I put ketchup? That's like a fruit cake. No offense. But why would you put fruit and cake? These are two separate categories that are never meant to meet. Okay. In any event, before and after, but you have to wash your mouth out in between. Okay. All right. It's a dacha. Okay, the whole thing. Kinuach. Okay. My friends, we're coming up now to the final. We're last night at number 36. Okay. I didn't count it. Yeah. Which means I didn't have We're last night, which means I didn't love Hashem enough. Right? But 36, we got ourselves. Was that 2 weeks left to the chuppah? Now's the time to start recalibrating and taking it day by day and actually working it through. If you want a cheat sheet, you can look at the 48 ways, right, that is found in Perek Vav, Mishnah Vav, or Hey, depending on what version you have. I prefer Vav Vav because my birthday is June 6th, whatever. But you take a look over there, 48 ways, which gives you a daily breakdown of what you should be working on. If you missed a couple, so maybe next year. But at least for this year, we can get some. Working, focusing, being involved. And if we do that, then God willing, not only will this be an incredible chasana, but the marriage will continue to be a geschmacka, unbelievable relationship, which opportunities galore to only build. Any questions, comments, stories, jokes, attacks, please see them verbal, non-physical? As suspected. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I want to thank you, Dabrut, and everyone else for coming tonight. Have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.